I'm back with $300 in ones. I was able to go to my bank and pick up these straps, and I'm really excited because these are straps from the Federal Reserve, and they usually contain a lot of goodies. So I look forward to seeing what's inside. Hi everyone, I'm Gina R, and I want to welcome you back to my channel. Now, like I said in the intro, I got $300 from my bank in ones, and we're going to go ahead and go through them. But before we do, we're going to break away to this clip that's going to explain what I look for during my currency hunts. During any currency search that I'm doing, there are certain things that I look for. My favorite note to look for is the star note. And you can tell you have a star note by looking at the suffix. Usually you'll see a letter, but if you see an asterisk or star as it's called, then that means you have a replacement note. And that's what I look for. Also, when you're finding a star note, check your stars to make sure that the star is not filled. This only applies to modern notes. Past notes have had filled stars. That was the way they were printed. But current notes do not have filled stars. They're supposed to be hollow. As far as fancy serial numbers, I'll look for low serial numbers, high serial numbers, ladders, which could be ascending, going from 0 to 7, or descending from 9 to 2. I also look at the different type of binary notes. A binary note means the serial number only has 2 digits that are the same throughout the serial number. But a true binary is composed of 0 and 1s through that 8-digit number. And it's more like computer coded. That's the one that's highly sought after. Excuse me. I also do look for repeater notes. And there's also something called a super repeater, where the number is repeated over and over throughout the serial number. I also do look for quad doubles. The first 4 digits are the same number and the second 4 digits are the same number. I also do look for the 3 different type of radar notes. You have your regular radar, your repeater radar, and you have what's called a binary radar. And of course, we can't forget the highly sought after solid. There are lots and lots of collectors out there and hunters who look for solid notes during their hunts. These are quite valuable. They can run up, if the note is in really good condition, they can run up into the thousands of dollars in value. So that's what I look for during my currency hunt. Well, let's go ahead and get this hunt started with strap number 1, and I'll be back with my finds after I've gone through it. Now, I am going to try to be careful because unlike the regular strap, these guys, you're going to have to tape them up, and I sure don't want to have to do that. So let's go ahead and get started with the first strap. Okay, after going through strap number 1, I did have a few finds. The first one, it's not valuable at all, but I do keep it because as you see the suffix, the letter at the very end behind the serial number has an X. And when they print these notes, they have different runs. They use the same Federal Reserve Bank, same serial number, but for every run, every time they run the notes through, they'll change the letter at the end. So they'll go all the way through the alphabet. And there are 2 letters that they'll exclude. They'll exclude the O because it looks a lot like a 0. And they exclude the Z, which is reserved for experimental notes. So this is the lowest alphabetical letter that is used at the end of a serial number. So they ran quite a bit of this serial number for the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank. So I find these to be interesting. So whenever I do come across an X or a Y, I do set these aside. So that was interesting. So I'm going to put that over here. I'm just keeping that for my interesting stack. And I did find a couple of star notes. Even though this one is written on, it is cool. I really enjoy finding star notes. So we're off to a good start there. We already found 2 star notes. All right, let me go ahead. Oops, I hit the camera there. And go on to strap number 2. I was just about to pull off the strap on strap number 2 when I realized we have an older note here. So we're off to a good start with strap number 2. Let me see if I can find any more older notes, possibly a fancy serial number, and especially my favorite, star note. Okay, I am done going through strap number 2. Okay, we did have our 2001 older note found. And I'm going to see if that would go into my collection. I also did have a 2003. So I did have 2 older notes that were found. I found the trinary. The only reason I pulled trinaries is because I'm trying to find another matching serial number. And that one was 0, 1s, and 9s. This one is 1, 2, and 6. Then I did find some that had quad digits in the serial number. This one has quad zeros. And we have some star notes. Here's one of the star notes that I found. That's a 2017A. And here is a 2021 star note. And we'll look these up at the end of toward the end of the video to see if we have any low print runs. All right, let me go on now to the 3rd strap. Well, I'm done going through strap number 3, and I had quite a few finds. First off, I did find a rotator note or a flipper where you can take the note and the digits are into another digit. In other words, 0 will stay 0, 9 will become a 6, 8 will stay an 8. So that is pretty cool. So I have one, and here's the second one. So we get it to focus. There we go. And like I said, if I rotate them, the digits, you can still tell that they're 0s, 6s, or 9s. I also did find a trinary with quad 2s. So that's pretty cool. 0, 2s, and 9. And I guess I'll put it with the trinaries. I don't know. I'll put it down here. Then I did find another trinary, 1, 3, and 5. 2, 4, and 9s, and it has 4 9s. So I'll go ahead and put that down here. And then I did find a note with 4 8s. And like I said, I'm just trying to find another note with the same serial number. And we did have quite a few star notes found. Here's the first one. the second one, and this is a 2003, so this is an older star note. And here is a 2017 A star note. Now, I will remind you to check your stars. Make sure they're not filled. If they are filled, it is an error, and it is worth quite a bit of money. So, all right. Well, that's all that I found in these 3 straps. What I plan to do next, I'm going to go get my computer, and we're going to enter these star notes into the star note lookup, and we're going to see if we have anything here with a low print run. So 7 star notes found during this hunt is pretty good. That's why I like the Federal Reserve Bank strap notes. All right, let me go grab that computer. Okay, there is an online website called mycurrencycollection.com. And that, by the way, is the URL. That's the address to get to the site. On here, you can find information about star notes and also fancy serial numbers. Now, we're looking at the star note lookup. We're trying to see if we have a low print run or a rare star note. So we start off first by going down here and filling out this information. Some of it's already filled out for us. The denomination that we're working with is a $1 bill or note, but it goes all the way up to 100. So if, say you find a $20 star note, you can come here and look it up. But like I said, ours star notes are $1 denomination. And here you select the year. And I'm going to start off with our older star note, which was a 2003. Then the next step is you're going to enter the serial number. You start off by entering the Federal Reserve Bank. That letter can be in uppercase or lowercase. It does not matter. So ours is 030664140. Next, I always enter the asterisk. Sorry. You don't have to, but if you don't put the asterisk, it's going to ask you at the end if it is a star note. So let me go ahead and leave out the asterisk so you can see the question that will pop up. So it's going to ask you, does your note serial number end with a star? And it gives you an example here. And then you'll select yes or no. In our case, it is yes. And it's going to give us the print run size. So this is a large print run. Now, right below there, they have more information. So we'll go to general information, look at that. And it tells us the number of runs was 1. It gives us the range of the serial number. So it was from 1 all the way to 3,200,000. And then it tells you where it was printed. It was printed at the Fort Worth facility around March of 2005. So that is the general information on the note. If you click on other star note runs for the series, you can see it here. In our case, because it already told us there was only 1 run, and it gives you the information that we just looked at above. But as far as the usage, it tells us it was a regular run. In other words, think of your printer. It's just printing sheets and sheets and sheets, right? And depending on what type of sheets, usually it's like 50 notes per sheet. That's what happens. So this, and another thing about it being a regular is that the error was found after all the notes had been cut and put into straps. And when they went through the inspection, that's when the error was found. So all of those notes with the error are destroyed, and they pull out, which have already been printed prior, the star notes and put them in its place. So that's pretty much what this means. When it says regular, that the error was found after notes have been cut and put into straps. All right, let's now move on to our next note. So let's go back to the top, and I'm going to clear out the serial number. And the next note is a 2017. So I'm going to change the year on this. And enter the serial number, which is K. That stands for the Federal Reserve Bank, in this case, Dallas. Serial number 11853685. And I put the asterisk, and you'll notice that I will not get that question this time. Again, another large print run. And let's see what it says down here about general information. Here it tells me there were 4 print runs. So let's look at all 4 print runs. And one of them was a small print run size. And it does say sheets, which means the error was caught prior to them being cut and put into straps. So they're pulled at those sheets are pulled at that time, and they are replaced afterwards, that block. So that is pretty cool. So we're going to be looking for 3,201 to 3,450,000. That would be the range that we would love to find, because it is part of a low print run size. Now the overall, of course, is very large because there were 4 print run sizes. Okay, let's move on to our next note. So let's go back up to the top. We have another 2017 note, so I'm going to clear K11853685. Put the asterisk. I'm also checking the asterisk to see if it's filled. It is not, so we don't have an error on our hands. This is another large print run, and since we have 9,850,000 notes, that tells me that a few of them were regular and at least one of them was sheets. And let's go look down here to production, and sure enough, there were 4 runs, and we have that one that we said we need to look for. So this one was also part of that last print run, the 4th print run. All right, let's go back to the top, and we're going to look at the next one. Our next star note is a 2017A. We're going to wipe out that serial number, and it is an F, Federal Reserve Bank, which I believe is Atlanta. And the way you can tell, by the way, let me zoom in. Right here where it says F, it'll tell you Atlanta. All right, let's go back to entering that serial number. 152500406. We put the asterisk. Again, we have a large print run, and we'll look at the other print runs. Ooh, and this one had a very low print run size, with a couple of others that are semi-low. But ours is not part of that. Okay, let me zoom in. Let me adjust the zoom in. There we go. Okay, whoops, sorry about that. Making some adjustments there so you can see better. Our next note is also a 2017A. It is also from Atlanta. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be part of that same block. I mean, not the block, but the same print run size. Yes, it's part of that. So let's see which one this is part of, which run. Okay, this was part of the 5th run. Okay, let's quickly move on to the next one. It is also a 2017, and it is a New York note. 0702 8045, and we put the asterisk. And again, we do have another large print run, and there were actually 3 print runs, and one of them was sheets, and it was a semi-low print. Okay. Now let's move on to the 2021 notes. Those are the newer ones that have come out. And we got B00015127 asterisk. And let's look at that one. Ooh, this one was actually part of a low print run. Now the overall print size was pretty big. So as you can see, as far as that, that's nothing important. But here we have a semi. And let's look at it. So yes, that's part of the first one. It was some sheets that were pulled because they spotted an error before it was cut. So we actually do have something here of a semi-print run. Now let's move on to the last note. It is also a 2021 note. Oh, I think we have another one. B00013328. The stars are normal. And is it part of a 500? Yes. Oh, that is awesome. We have 2 that are part of the first print run, and these 2 are semi-low print runs. So that is awesome. Oh, look at that right there. You can see the light coming. There is a pinhole, unfortunately, on the top note. You can see it right there. Oh well. Wow, this was a fun hunt. We had a lot of finds for 3 straps, but I usually do with the Federal Reserve Bank notes. We had 7 star notes and 2 which are part of a semi-print run. Even though the overall print run size was large, I'll still take 2 semi-low print runs. We did have 2 older notes. We did have some fun notes for my private collection, and we also had some trinaries and quad notes, which I'm trying to find a matching pair for. These are not valuable at all, but this is something I do for fun. I want to thank you for watching. Without your help and without your watching hours and stuff, I wouldn't be able to do this. I hope you enjoyed this hunt. And until next time, happy hunting, happy collecting. Bye, everyone.